Hello students, in this session we'll start with a new topic, that is human reproduction. The first foremost question arises, what is reproduction? As you already know that a reproduction is a fundamental characteristic feature of all living organisms. That means the only living organism reproduce in order to continue their generation. Then what is a reproduction? A reproduction is a process in which an individual produces young ones of their own kind. So all living organisms reproduce in order to continue their generation. And you already studied in previous session, there are two types of reproduction. One is asexual reproduction, another one is sexual reproduction. So what is the contrasting difference between sexual and asexual? The sexual reproduction, which involves the formation and the fusion of gametes. The formation of gametes is called gametogenesis, and the fusion of gametes is called fertilization. Whereas asexual reproduction does not involve the formation and the fusion of gametes. When you talk about human reproduction, they reproduce by sexual method. That involves the formation of gametes, that is gametogenesis. Okay. Two types of gametes are produced. One is spermatogenesis, that is formation of sperms or haploid male gamete, and second one is oogenesis, the formation of female gamete or ovum. Soon after the formation of gametes, both the gametes fuse together, that results in diploid zygote, and that process is called fertilization. And you remember one thing, the animals are broadly classified into three categories: oviparous animals, viviparous animals, ovoviviparous animals. So you already know the difference between oviparous and viviparous. The egg-laying animals are called oviparous. The animals which give birth to the young ones are called viviparous. When you talk about human beings, they are sexually reproducing organisms and viviparous. And you remember one thing, there is a clear sexual dimorphism in case of human beings. That means the male and female individuals are differentiated externally. So based on morphological characters, we can easily identify both the male and female individual. And that phenomenon is called sexual dimorphism. The human beings shows sexual dimorphism. That means this, based on secondary sexual characters, we can easily identify male and female individuals. So let us start with the human reproduction. In this topic you are going to study male reproductive system, the female reproductive system, gametogenesis, menstrual cycle, fertilization and implantation, pregnancy and embryonic development, and lastly parturition and lactation. So let us start with the male reproductive system. So you already know that The human beings are sexually reproducing organism and are viviparous. The human beings, the major reproductive events which takes place in case of human beings are: one is gametogenesis, second one is insemination. The question arises, what is gametogenesis? The formation of gametes is called gametogenesis, or the formation of male and female gametes is called gametogenesis. The formation of male gamete is called spermatogenesis. The formation of female gamete, that is ovum, is called oogenesis. Soon after the formation of gametes, for example, when you talk about male gamete and female gamete, the male gamete are motile, whereas female gametes are non-motile. That means the male gamete reaches the female gamete soon after insemination. Then what is insemination? The process of release of sperms or transfer of sperms or semen into the female genital tract is called insemination. This is second reproductive event. The third reproductive event is fertilization. Once the male gametes are released into the female genital tract with the help of vibratile movement of tail, sperm reaches the site of fertilization where it comes in a contact with the female gamete. Finally, the male gamete fuses with the female gamete that results in formation of a diploid zygote. That means that process we called as a fertilization, the process of fusion of haploid male and female gamete that results in formation of a diploid zygote. So soon after, and one very important thing you remember, the zygote we called as a totipotent cell. Totipotent cell, because it has a capacity to develop into new individual. Soon after the fertilization, the diploid zygote enters into the three developmental stages. One is cleavage, second one is blastula, and third one is gastrula. And a peculiar characteristic feature of female gamete, human female gamete, is the human female gamete is alecital. That means yolk is completely absent. Reserved food material is completely absent. For developmental stages, the nutrients which are present in the cytoplasm that are utilized for the initial growth and development of the embryo. Once it reaches the blastula, for further development of embryo, it requires continuous supply of energy. So, in order to absorb energy, to get the energy, nutrients for growth and development, immediately the embryo gets attached to the maternal tissue or the mother uterine wall, and that process is called implantation. So the fourth event which commonly takes place in human reproduction or the reproductive event is implantation. The process of attachment of blastula or blastocyst to the uterine endometrium or uterine wall is called implantation. Then we'll move on to the next reproductive event is gestation. Gestation or pregnancy is a period between fertilization and fertilization and parturition. Soon after the fertilization, the gestation period starts, and soon after the completion of parturition, the pregnancy period ends or gestation period ends. Then what is parturition? So parturition is a process of delivery of the baby or expelling the baby from the mother's womb or giving birth to the young ones is called parturition. So these are the reproductive events which commonly takes place in case of human beings. So let us start with the first one, the anatomy of male reproductive system. So when you look at the anatomy of male reproductive system, the human reproductive system consists of two types of organs. Or you take any reproductive system, either male or female reproductive system. The reproductive system is made up of two types of organs. One is primary sex organ, second one is secondary sex organ. The primary sex organs are the organs which plays very important role in the production of gametes and secretion of sex hormones. Those organs which produce sex cells or gametes and also involved in the secretion of sex hormones, such organs are called primary sex organs. So in case of male, testes are the male primary sex organ. In case of female, the female primary sex organs. In the male sex organ, the formation of or production of male gamete takes place, that is sperms, and also involved in secretion of male sex hormone, that is testosterone. Whereas in case of ovary, the formation of female gamete takes place by the process called oogenesis, and the female gonad or female sex organ produce two female sex hormones. One is estrogen, second one is progesterone. And come back to the second one, the secondary sex organs. These are the organs, neither they produce sex cells nor they secrete sex hormones. Neither they produce sex cells nor they secrete sex hormones, but helps in the process of reproduction, are called secondary sex organs. So in case of male reproductive system, it consists of male primary sex organ and male secondary sex organs. The male primary sex organs are pair of testes, are the male gonad, and the secondary sex organs are the accessory ducts, the accessory glands, and external genitalia. That means testicles produce male gametes and secrete male sex hormones, whereas accessory ducts, accessory glands, external genitalia, male external genitalia, they helps in the process of reproduction. That's why these organs considered as secondary sex organs. So let us start with the first one, testes. You remember, the testes are derived from mesoderm. They are the derivative of mesoderm. And the testes are located in the extra-abdominal cavity, that is, outside the pelvis. The male primary sex organs are located in the extra-abdominal cavity, whereas secondary sex organs are located in the abdominal cavity and extra-abdominal cavity, that is, inside and outside the pelvis. So male reproductive system, which includes a pair of testes, the duct system, that means within the testes, the formation of male gametes takes place, and these male gametes are conveyed to the region of ejaculation through duct system. And the duct system includes rete testis, vas efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, and ejaculatory duct. During the movement of sperms, the sperms are nourished by the secretion of three male accessory glands. One is seminal vesicles, prostate glands, and bulbourethral glands. The last one is male external genitalia, that is, male copulatory organs that helps in the release of semen into the female genital tract at the time of sexual intercourse or coitus. So let us start with Let us start with the testes. You already know that. The testes are located in the extra abdominal cavity within a sac-like structure called scotum. Within a sac-like structure called scotum. And testes are the male gonad, a pair of soft, smooth, pinkish oval organs located in the extra abdominal cavity within a sac-like structure called scotum. Scotum. And each testis, which measures about 4.5 centimeter in length, 2.5 centimeter in width, and 3 centimeter in thickness, and weighs about 10 to 15 grams. 10 to 15 grams. They are mesodermal in origin, extra and present in the extra abdominal cavity. The question arises why they are placed in the extra abdominal cavity. We'll discuss later. So, you remember the testes are placed within the scrotal sac by means of spermatic cord. Spermatic cord. And the testes are situated in the abdominal cavity with a pouch called scotum. And you remember, the scotum is a pigmented skin below the pubic symphysis and behind the penis. The inner layer of scotum is made up of a specialized smooth muscles, and those specialized smooth muscles are called dartus muscles. Dartus muscles. And the function of dartus muscles, dartus muscles are responsible for wrinkling up of the scotum in a condition of cold weather to maintain the correct temperature which is absolutely required for spermatogenesis. So the function of scotum, and you remember the cavity of scotum is connected to the abdominal cavity through a narrow canal, and that canal is called inguinal canal. Inguinal canal. So one of the important functions of scotum is they protect the testis from mechanical injury and they act as a thermoregulator. That means when you compare the temperature of abdominal temperature and extra abdominal cavity temperature, in the extra abdominal cavity temperature is 2 to 2.5 degree less. This provides less temperature provides are necessary for the production of sperms in the testes and the survival of the sperms. Okay, and one more thing you remember, the testes are connected to the posterior wall of the scrotum by means of fibrous cord or fibromuscular band, and that fibromuscular band is called gubernaculum. The cavity of scrotum is connected to the abdominal cavity through inguinal canal, and the testes are connected to the scrotum by means of a fibromuscular band called gubernaculum. Then come back to the development and descent of testes. You already know that during embryonic developmental stages, the testes are placed in a abdominal cavity. Gradually, okay, they are present during embryonic developmental stages. The testes are present just below the kidney, and they descend into the extra abdominal cavity. That means they are developed in the lumbar region just below the kidney of early embryonic developmental stages. During 7th month of development, testis passes through the inguinal canal and descend into the scrotum. If the scrotum, if testis fails to descend into the extra abdominal cavity, the condition is called cryptorchidism. Cryptorchidism. Okay. Next one. When you talk about testis, so each testis is formed of seminiferous tubules and interstitial cells or Leydig cells present in between them. And each testis is made up of a structural and functional units. Those structural and functional units are called seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules. And when you look at the sectional view of testes, each testis is made up of around 250 compartments. Compartments, and those compartments are called testicular lobules. And each testicular lobule contains 1 to 3 highly coiled structures, and those coiled structures are called seminiferous tubules. You already know that. What are seminiferous tubules? The seminiferous tubules are the structural and functional unit of testis. When you look at the structure of seminiferous tubule, the seminiferous tubule is lined by germinal epithelium. So, in the germinal epithelium, or it is lined by a single layer of germinal epithelium. The germinal epithelium is made up of cuboidal epithelial cells. In the germinal epithelium, there are two types of cells are differentiated. One is spermatogonial cells. Spermatogonial cells. Can you see this? These are the spermatogonial cells, and the second one is highly differentiated cells, and those cells are called Sertoli cells. So what is the function of spermatogonial cells and Sertoli cells? You remember, spermatogonial cells, also known as male germ cells, these male germ cells, after attaining puberty, they undergo mitotic division and meiotic division and produce haploid male gamete by the process called spermatogenesis. Whereas the Sertoli cells, second type of cell which is commonly found in the seminiferous tubules, that is Sertoli cells, or they are commonly called nurse cells, or they are commonly called sustentacular cells. So these cells provide nourishment to the developing sperms. Okay, developing sperms. Next, look at here. This is a structure of seminiferous tubule. Look at here. So it is lined by germinal epithelium. There are two types of cells are differentiated. One is spermatogonial cells. Then second one is highly differentiated cells called Sertoli cells. And you already know that in the testicular lobule, in each testicular lobule consists of 1 to 3 highly coiled structures called seminiferous tubules. So in between the two seminiferous tubules, you find a space, and this space is called interstitial space. The region between the seminiferous tubule is called interstitial space, and the interstitial space consists of small blood vessels and specialized endocrine cells called interstitial cells or Leydig cells. Interstitial cells or Leydig cells. When you talk about Leydig cells, they are the endocrine cells present in the wall in the interstitial space. In function ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, the Leydig cells secrete male sex hormone or testicular hormone called androgen or testosterone. Androgen and testosterone. And you remember one more thing, I told you about the Sertoli cells. The Sertoli cells secrete a hormone called inhibin hormone, and also secrete ABP, androgen binding protein. And these hormone, inhibin hormone, plays very important role in regulating the spermatogenesis when the sperm production is under control within the seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules. Is that it? When you talk about androgen, testicular hormone or testosterone, it is absolutely required for spermatogenesis, formation of male gametes or sperms, and also it is required for growth and development of the male reproductive system. Male reproductive system. So we'll complete the first session. That is, we discussed the structure of structure of male primary sex organ, that is testis. In the next session, we'll discuss the male accessory ducts and male accessory glands and male external genitalia. Thank you.